never find widowed me here. Cut it out! find widow old me here. Pick an option, friend.
Ladies and gentlemen, pick the rabbit.
I claim this screen in the name of Mars.
My, aren't we touchy today? Are you ready?
Come on, can't wait on. Ladies and gentlemen, pick the rabbit.
Hello, hello. You guys can hear me? It's all good? I was just checking it out here. We're just trying to sort out all the bugs. See what's what. Yeah, so your razor's screwed up. That sucks. I don't know. I've seen a lot of Razer arcade sticks fail in tournaments, and so I was always wary of their products. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna pause here for a second and turn this down in case it's coming through. Yeah, I don't know. Because, like, yeah, I've been messing with this, like, with OBS and with Streamlabs and stuff. And then I finally run it through the Elgato software, and it's, like, perfect. Like, what the hell was I doing? Messing with all that other trash. That's the thing. Oh, like the Nagas, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird, like, but it was happening so much at arcade tournaments that people were just like, anytime someone had a bad stick, they assumed it was a Razer stick. It was really getting common, and so like, none of the Hori sticks or none of the Mad Cats or any of those sticks were failing at tournaments. But man, Razer, for a while there was a ton of Razer sticks just like crapping out at tournaments like halfway through. And so a lot of people were like very hesitant to like buy them. So this all sounds good. This all seems to be running smooth. Maybe this will be the way I do all this stuff. I don't know. I really like this. Like, I just picked this up the other day, and I'm actually surprised at how good it is. Hey, thanks, Brian. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I've played a lot of Mario Kart 8, and I like that game a lot. But, like, I'm surprised at how well this game holds up. Like, I really am. Like, it controls well. It runs really smooth. Like, yeah, I'm very surprised by this PS1 game. I also picked up Gekido the other day. And I also picked up The Fifth Element, also for PS1. So I have to play that. I have to play The Fifth Element on PS1. It looks so crazy. Tell me you have Mod Nation. I think I do. I think I have Mod Nation for PS3. Yeah. I would have to look, but I'm pretty sure. If I don't, I'm sure I could find a copy. They're probably $5. But yeah, like this game actually really surprises me that it's as quality as it is. Like, yeah, I don't know. I wasn't expecting a lot, but I was just like, ooh. Pick up some PS1 games in my travels. And yeah, I sat down with this like the first time today, actually, to be honest. Oh god, I'm getting hit by that. And yeah, it was just like, hey, let's check this out. And it could have been trash. Like, for all I knew, I could have been sitting down to just a pile of trash. But no, it's actually pretty fun. Let's see if I can grab that too. Alright. It's also a really neat way to do the power-ups. Because you're not randomly picking up power-ups, you're picking up the tokens. And they basically level up which power-up you get. Like, the greens are 2 points, red are 1. And then there are some purple 3s I've seen. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's perfect. And so, yeah, and so you're basically just leveling up your power-ups, which is kind of cool. Instead of it just being this random chaos of, like, you know, oh, I've got a blue shell, I've got a red shell. Yeah. I like it. And when I played on D Live, I played as Foghorn Leghorn, and he's clearly like heavier. He's kind of like I guess you'd say he's like a Donkey Kong. Yeah, Cuphead racing game would be amazing. Like, just like the music and stuff. But the thing is like, the kind of beauty of Cuphead is that it's 2D. Like, all that hand-drawn. Like, I mean, you could get close. Like, you could do a 3D game in that style. For sure. But yeah, I'd be down with that. I'd be down if they tried to do a Cuphead game like that. But yeah, the music and stuff like that, or like, you know, just imagine that style, and like, you know, you're the carrot boss or something like that. Like, you know, going through like a farmer's field. That'd be really cool. Yeah. But yeah, there's like, you know, and that's the thing. Like, it's kind of one of the reasons why I like to go back to like the older systems. Oh Jesus. They just don't make as many genres as they used to. Like, you know, it's like you don't see a lot of kart racers that aren't Mario anymore. You don't see like, just, you know, like Konami would put out a kart racer, or there's Crash Team Racing or anything like that on like PS1. You just seen, you know, on N64, you just seen kart racers all over the place. And so you just don't see kart racers as a genre anymore. You really don't see arcade racers. You don't see a lot of platformers. Like, you know, it's mostly like first-person shooters and stuff now. It's kind of boring. So, yeah, it just depends what you're into. But like, you know, I'd like to see a little bit more variety. You know, because you kind of have big budget, like AAA first-person shooters, and then you have like indie games that either like look like, you know, kind of that really mid-level stuff, or they're like retro, you know, 2D pixel art games. So I don't know. It's kind of depressing that you don't get to see a lot of these genres. Oh my god, Anvil fucking party, holy. Oh, you bastards. Man. Yeah, the difficulty sort of spiked here. Ooh, that was close. That was close. Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, look at this game. Looks really good for a PS1 game. Like, you know, the springy, bouncy animation, and like, you know, just like it runs really smooth. Like, yeah, it's kind of surprising. Okay, so I've unlocked the third championship. All right. Let's go. Did I unlock anybody? Oh, Pepe Le Pew. How are you? Let's do that. Yeah, no, and that's why I kind of like, I still buy new games and still like collect new games, but I definitely have been going back a lot more and picking up older games for like, you know, original Xbox, GameCube, PS2, PS1, Saturn, stuff like that, like Genesis. Yeah, just because it's kind of like, you know, there's just so much more to pick from. There's like, you know, any genre you want to find or any goofy kind of weird stuff you can check out. It doesn't cost you a lot. Well, sometimes it does, but depends what you're looking for. Yeah, whoa, look at this. They really stepped up the old AI here, holy. Whoa, giant bees. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Yeah, you super have to be on it now. Wow, how did I miss that? Come on. Yeah, it's weird because like we're kind of in this really awesome time for video games because like almost anybody can make a game. You know, like there's a lot of middleware and a lot of software out there, and like, you know, if you want to make pixel art or if you know people across the internet, you know, you can get a small team together and you don't even have to be in the same city, like, you know what I mean, or whatever town. You could make a game over the internet. And so, like, you know, we're kind of in this really interesting time where you can make a game, or you make a game on your own, or whatever, if you get the time and dedication. But then, like, the big companies don't take risks anymore. It's like, you get a lot of these, like, really, like, generic games. Like, look at, like, Destiny and Anthem, and, like, it's like, okay, they're the same game, they just have slightly different coat of paint. You know, and like, you know, you're constantly getting like Call of Duties, and now they're chasing like Fortnite and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and it's just like, all right, Apex Legends and stuff like that, and they're fun, but like, you know, it's like there just needs to be more genres than shoot stuff. You know. So yeah, I don't know. Like, I bought a Switch. I played a lot of like Mario Odyssey and like Splatoon and like all kinds of stuff like that. Like, so yeah, I don't know. It's just like, you know, there's a lot out there, but at the same time, it just feels like there's not enough creativity, not enough risk. You know, at the same time, it's really weird. It's really weird ways. It's like almost everything's like that now, so it's kind of frustrating. You know, or if you're like a fan of like old school Sega, you know what I mean? Like they have all these like games like Shinobi and Golden Axe and Streets of Rage and Jet Set Radio and like Afterburner and stuff. Like, man, like Space Harrier, can we get some of that cool stuff? Like, you just remake them. Like, even if it was like, you know, just like a cool like 3D remake of those kind of games, or Outrun, or, you know. Like, yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Like, I just wish, like, because some companies have this huge, like, awesome backlog of IP, and so like, you know, they could just be digging into those IPs. Like, they don't, you know what I mean? Like, you don't even have to create something from scratch. You have these awesome characters and these awesome stories to build on, and so yeah, it's kind of frustrating whenever you're like, oh. You know, you see, like, I seen a thing, like, and I don't know what you guys follow or whatever, but, like, you know, Sega has Phantasy Star Online 2. And, like, that's out in Japan, and I played the hell out of Phantasy Star Online on, like, Dreamcast and Xbox and stuff like that. and they put it out in Japan, and it's been out there for like 5 years, and they've never brought it out here yet, and it's incredibly frustrating. But it's in English in some eastern areas, like in Eastern Asia and stuff. But yeah, they're like, oh no, we're not gonna bring it out here. But then the same time they were talking about bringing an MMO out for the West, and I'm like, you have an MMO that has name brand recognition that a lot of fans already know, but you're refusing to bring it out. Just weird. Like, companies, I don't know if it's because the companies are so big that there's so many people that have to agree to things for things to just make sense. Like, you know, for someone to go, oh, that's the right thing to do. You know, we already have a game made. Why would we make another one? And yeah, like that Bloodstained Curse of the Moon, that game is really awesome. And it, like, you know, it has that Castlevania feel. I mean, it's made by Iga. You know, he's the Castlevania guy, like, you know, that did those games for Konami. And so yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like, you have really cool shit like that coming out, and you know, and that game's way cheaper, you know, to make. Like, you don't need as big of an art team as you need for a 3D game. You don't need as many people. And that game's great. Like, I love that game. I played through that game. It's a lot of fun. And so yeah, like, you can make good experiences anywhere. You know, in any art style. You know, if it's 3D or 8-bit or 16-bit looking or whatever. Like, but yeah, just you know, give me more variety. Give me more choice. Like, take more risks. Like, I just don't see why you know, Sega doesn't go, hey, let's make a new Shinobi. Like, you know, nice little 2D side-scrolling platformer. You know, or a 3D one. Give me a brand new, like, crazy, like 3D Dark Souls like Shinobi. You know, I don't know. Oh, this track isn't very long. What the is that a fat unicorn? What is that? Man, this game's crazy drifty. Alright. Do. Yeah, those ones don't home. Yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, is it a fat unicorn? Yeah. But yeah, like, look at this game. It's totally stepped up its difficulty. Yeah, it is a fat unicorn, Jesus. But yeah, and that's the thing too, like, but also, like, everybody has different weights and feels too. Like, I definitely feel a difference between Marvin Martian and Pepe Le Pew, that's for sure. I think so, Evan. I'm pretty sure I can. I mean, it has all the other services, like, you know, Twitch and all that stuff listed there, so it should be able to. You know, I imagine you can add it if not. Fourth, boo. Gotta pay more attention. Oh, Duck Dodgers. Awesome. Yeah, like, that's the thing, like, you know, there are so many good games put out on these machines, like, you know, even when they were new, you didn't have enough time to play them. And so it's been really cool to kind of go back and get a lot of this stuff as I've been picking up stuff over the years. Alright, let's grind this puppy out. This track isn't that long. Get out of this fucking unicorn's way. Alright. Focus. Let's put in some hot laps. Alright, let's crush these fools. Do, 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 do. Oh, that's a weird turn. Alright. Make sure you hit all the appropriate speed traps. Alright. Yeah, and it's neat because the drift button is just R1 on this. Like, I just have X just hammered down and just hit R1 for the drifting. All go. What's the best console? It depends on, like, do you mean like current gen, like Xbox One, PS4, Switch? Or do you mean like overall, like an all-time? Because my opinion is going to vary wildly depending on that. Oh, shit. Yep. Man, the AI is fucking brutal in this game. Yeah, that really messes you up. I didn't realize how much like a traction loss you actually get from being rained on. Man, oh man, oh Shabbats. I think you need a minimum of third to move on. Ho ho! Right at the end. Driftaroo. Right past her at the end. That was great. From each company of all time. Okay, I'm gonna my statement's gonna be controversial here, Evan. I'm gonna say the Xbox currently, right now. I think the like Microsoft with the Xbox is doing the best work, and I'll explain why. Because on the Xbox One right now, I can put the vast majority of my Xbox 360 discs or even original Xbox discs in my Xbox One, and they play. So they are working hard on backwards compatibility, and so when you go to the next Xbox, all those games are going to be back. You know, so like all my Xbox Live Arcade games from 360, like they're updating it all the time and adding new titles, and I think that's really important. And so like it's really interesting because I think this generation Microsoft got really screwed at the start. They've been doing this for a couple of years now, Evan, where they've been basically making 360 and the original Xbox games backwards compatible with the Xbox One, and also your Xbox Live Arcade games. And so they've been doing this work and putting in this work because the architecture is all x86 based. And so the next Xbox, whether they call it Xbox 4 or 720 or Xbox 2 or whatever the hell they call it, it's going to be able to play all your Xbox One games, in high def, 4K, 8K, whatever they decide to keep doing. And so as a person who collects games, that's really valuable to me. And so it means that like I'm not wasting money. I don't have to constantly have every machine I own hooked up. And that's really valuable to me. Like it's why Sony going into the next generation is going to make PS4 games compatible with PS5. They've already announced that. And so like, that means that my library, I've got like, I don't know, 50 or 60 PS4 games that means day one when I buy a PS5, I've got a ton of games that'll play on it, and they're gonna run smoother and look better, and and so that's really interesting to me. Yeah, backwards compatibility. It's one of my favorite things. I'm a big fan of it, and I think it's really important. Like I think making your system play the games, of your previous generation rewards people who supported you the generation before, and it also gives you, a continued revenue stream. Like, you can put those games up digitally. You can put those games up, you can re-release those games in collections, whatever you want to do. I think it just makes sense. I think it's smart. I think long-term backwards compatibility just makes good business sense, and it's also respectful to the people who supported you. And so, I think just in general, I think that's the way everything's going to go going forward. Yeah, go to majornelson.com, and there is a giant backwards compatibility list. It's in the top right-hand corner. And they have basically all the games for Xbox and Xbox 360 and Xbox Live Arcade and stuff that are all backwards compatible. It's a big list. And so, yeah, and they update it every week, every other week. They added the Ninja Gaiden games. They added all the Splinter Cell games from 360. A bunch of them got Xbox One X compatibility. That means they have 4K support, stuff like that. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool. I'm a huge fan of that. Yeah, no, the backwards compatibility works on Xbox One, just base system, and Xbox One X, but some Xbox One X games have an improved feature set. They have better updates for the textures and 4K compatibility. Solid Metal Gear Solid Revengeance gets a 60 frames per second boost. You know what I mean? It's just a rock solid, just huge performance boost on that. It's really cool. And there's a lot of games like Red Dead, the first Red Dead Redemption, also gets a huge texture boost, and 4K support. Looks awesome. So yeah, I definitely, I'm a big fan of that. It's kind of one of the reasons. I have an original PlayStation 3, one of the PlayStation 3 Fats, and that's what I'm playing this Looney Tunes game on, and it has the original chips for PS1, PS2 in it, and runs those games properly. It's the best way to play PS1 and PS2 disc-based games through HDMI. That's the best picture you're gonna get, and so which makes those fat 60 gig PS3s pretty valuable. They're actually a lot more expensive than just a regular slim PS3 or whatever. And so I love that about the PS3. I can pop a PS2 disc into it. I can pop PS1 disc into it and play those games. And especially play them on an HD TV, and just see every filthy, dirty, sharp pixel, and just love that. I want to see all that pixel art. I want to see all that that grit, but yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm playing on PS3. Yeah, it is on a PS3. It's it's a day one original fat 60 gig PS3. And so yeah, it's I've had it since it launched, and it's great. It's a great machine to have if you'd like to play video games. I'll tell you that, for free. But yeah, I still do. I still have a couple PS1s kicking around. I have a Japanese PS2 and just a regular, you know, PS2. Because, yeah, I play a lot of games. I order a lot of import games and stuff like that as well. So chances are, if I don't own it, I've either owned it or, you know, I'm aware of it. I guess would be the best way to put it. Yeah, it's one of those things, like, in trying to pick one up now, like, they're actually really pricey to pick up a fat, unless you just, like, stumble across somebody who doesn't know. But if you look on eBay, or you look, like, in, you know, any of your kind of local buy and sells, fat PS3 is usually, like, a couple $100, maybe more. Still, like, you know, you can buy a Slim for a lot cheaper, but they don't play PS2 games. They still play PS1 games, though. But it's software-based. It's not perfect, but it still works. Like, you know, Sony's kind of got their PS1 emulation mostly down. Yeah, they're not the worst. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you can pick up a Slim and, you know, that gives you the ability to play PS1 and PS3 games, you know, no complaints. You know, but if you can hunt down, if you can grab a fat PS3, that's the way to go. It's ideal, you know, especially if you want to stream, or if you just want to play those games on a flat, you know, HD TV. You know, yeah, it's just the best way it's going, because, like, a lot of new TVs don't even have component cables on them anymore, or composite either. So, you know, you're just looking at, like, a cable input and then some HDMI ports. So, you know, I mean, and you can use component on PS2 games, like on an original PS2, you can get component cables. And maybe you could get, like, a VGA adapter or something like that, or, you know, a component to VGA adapter. But, you know, then you're still, you know, you're jumping through middlemen all the way. Yeah, the Vita. I have a Vita TV. It's actually all right. You know, so, like, yeah, you can play most Vita games on the Vita TV, unless you mod it. And so, like, and you can even hook up a PS4 controller to the Vita TV, and it allows you to do some of the touch stuff with the touchpad on the PS4 controller, which is pretty cool. But yeah, and that's the other thing too. A friend of mine has been trying to find a Vita TV, and he's just like, dude, where the hell do I find a Vita TV? And I'm just like, yeah, they're nowhere. But then for, like, I think it was like last year, the year before, they were blowing them out everywhere. Like, I think I got mine with a controller, like a PS3 controller, and that Lego the Movie game for like $40 at, like, Best Buy. And now you can't find them anywhere. Like, and so, like, they're, you know, they're decent. Like, if you, like, you know what I mean? There's not a ton of great Vita games, but there's enough that makes it worth owning it. So yeah, it just depends. Depends what you're into. If you're into JRPGs and you know, Lego games and some racing games like Ridge Racer, and there's a couple, and it also plays PS1 games digitally. But you can, because, like, all PS3s will play PS1 games. So you definitely can. So yeah. So the more you know, the more you know. But I'm almost positive, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive that you'll have to find a physical copy of it, though. Like, I don't think they have this game available digitally. So yeah, if you can hunt down a copy like on eBay or find one locally or something like that, yeah, I definitely say pick it up. Like I think I paid $7 for this, $7 or $8, like, and complete too. Like, you know, all the case, discs in great shape, book and everything like that. Just I stumbled across it in a thrift store. I was just like, hello. So oh god. So yeah, like, you know, totally worth the money. No, they didn't shut down the online store. It's just that, like, a lot of games weren't, like, this is a licensed game. Like, a lot of those games aren't going to stay on a digital storefront like that. Like, they'd have to relicense the Looney Tunes thing to resell it. You know, like, who made this? Infogrames. It's a Warner Brothers Infogrames on the cover now that I look at it. So Infogrames, if they were going to put it on the storefront, would have to, like, redo all the Warner Brothers licensing. So, like, that's why, like, when you look on there and go, hey, I remember this PS1 game, it's not on the PSN store. That's why. You know, there's a ton of PS1 games that you won't see on there because they'd have to pay that licensing. So, man, I am way behind. Yeah. We're going to try somebody else. But yeah, that's the thing too. Like, and there's a ton of Capcom games as well that are on PS1, like Rival Schools. They can't bring that game out there because Capcom doesn't have the rights to a lot of the music in that game. So, you know, for them to, you know, get that licensing, I'm gonna go for Daffy this time. No, you can definitely still buy digital games on the online store. The thing they stopped was giving Vita games and PS3 games away with PS Plus. They did that, like, this year. That was the thing that they shut down. But the actual store is still up, for sure. Yeah, Foghorn Leghorn's in this. Yeah, he's. Are you reading a FAQ? Is that what's happening? Are you seeing who's the best in this game? Because I unlocked him when I won the first cup. Yeah, see, he's very and he's, like, really slippery. Weird. So far, Marvin, Martian, and Bugs were kind of the ones I feel play more into my style. Yeah, he's very, like, there's a lot of horizontal action in this guy's drift. Whoa. Crazy. But yeah, I'll give this cup one more shot, and maybe I'll throw in the Fifth Element. See how that is. Duck Dodgers. Do you know how to unlock him? Like, is it just through championship play, or do I have to do those Acme challenges, or what? That's the real question. The return of Duck Dodgers. Okay. Well, I won the first two. So ideally, I should be able to win this one. I don't think the game, like, I don't find the game that hard, but it's definitely, this has definitely stepped up a bit, like, you know what I mean, like, obviously there's a jump. That's the other thing I find hilarious about a lot of these games. Like, on paper you'd be like, this is supposed to be for kids. And it's like, I've got a nephew, he's like 8. I can't imagine him playing this game. Like, and winning at it, let's be honest. Like, I can't imagine, you know. And that's the weird thing, like, the bizarre thing that I've noticed about kids these days, you know, and I guess it's not all kids, but my nephew is very, like, this doesn't have a touchscreen on it, what's a controller, kind of thing. And he's only kind of got into playing controller-based stuff over the last year or so. Because I bought the kid a 360 and was like, here, learn how to play some games. And he started playing stuff and then got Minecraft for 360 and, like, things like that. Like, but, like, I handed him a 3DS one time and he just kept touching the screen and didn't know how to play Mario. It was the weirdest thing when he was like 6. And I was like, oh. By the time I was, you know what I mean? I don't know, when I was a kid I played a lot of video games, so seeing a kid not understand how a controller works is very bizarre. Second. It was Rocky. Really? But from my understanding, like, oh, what was wrong with it, Evan? Do you know? But yeah, like, from my understanding, you know, from other people I've talked to who have kids or nephews or whatever, they're like, it's the same. It's like, I guess parents just handed their kids iPads or cell phones and went, here you go. And that's how they learn to play games. Like, you know. So, like, and it was funny too, because, like, in a weird way, my sister kind of thanked me, was like, oh, you got him a video game system. You know, it was kind of one of the funniest things I'd ever heard, as a good reason for a kid to have a video game system. And she was like, it'll help with his hand-eye coordination. I was like, what? I was like, is that a problem? Is that a pressing issue with children these days, that hand-eye coordination just isn't there for them? Like, you know, very bizarre. Very bizarre. But I thought it was funny. Like, you know, it will help him with his hand-eye coordination. Oh, shit. Granny? Like the Sylvester Granny? Sylvester and Tweety Granny? What? Yeah, because in a weird way, I was half expecting, you know, them to be like, oh, why did you buy him a video game system? And I was like, you know, he'll never get anything done. But, no, hand-eye coordination was the key, apparently. Man, I want to just drift that turn and pretend it doesn't exist. Like that, yeah. Yeah. He's hunting wabbits. That one, it's wabbit season. hunting wabbits. Oh, okay. I know what you're talking about now. I was just thinking the forest. But yeah, and see, and this is the thing I like about, like, I guess I'll put it this way. The thing I like about the idea of streaming and about why, like, I mostly want to, one of the reasons, like, you know, that I mostly want to make, like, a YouTube channel kind of thing, is basically for, like, you know, the kind of situation where Eagle's like, hey, this game looks pretty cool. I didn't know. And, like, you know what I mean? Like, you just don't, like, you know what I mean? You just don't know. There's a ton of shit out there. And how the hell are you supposed to know what's good or what's not good? You know, or even know about some stuff. Like, you know what I mean? I'm sure there are plenty of people who didn't even know there was a Looney Tunes kart game. Like, you know what I mean? And so, like, to me, that's what's kind of cool, like the discovery. That's what's really interesting to me about, like, people being, like, you know, people being able to share, you know, their opinions, their collections, and, like, not even that, like, somebody's opinion's more important, that it's just, like, different, and you, like, you know what I mean? It's just like, hey, I had no clue this existed, now I do. That's awesome. You know, it appeals to me. And that's the thing. Yeah, and there's a lot of good games out there, but, like, how the hell are you supposed to know what's out there? Like, you know what I mean? And it's like, I've kind of been fortunate that I've kind of just always been into games, and even though I, like, been into games and collect games and all that kind of stuff like that, I still stumble upon things that, like, I either just didn't pay attention to or give the time to, or it just kind of just went past my radar. Like, you know, and so a lot of times I'll see something and just pick it up and be like, hey, what the hell? And just try it out. Because, like, I mean, for, you know, $5 or $7, you know, to pick up, like, a PS1 game to find out if it's okay or not isn't the worst thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's like the chances of me not being able to sell this, or if I was like, it's not, you know, it's too easy or it's too whatever, I can just give it to my nephew or sell it on eBay or whatever, you know. It's a pretty low risk, you know, low entry kind of thing. And then you find out, like, oh shit, this game is actually really good. I'm going to put it on my shelf with the rest of my collection. And, yeah, it's just fun. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and so, yeah, it's that kind of thing. Like, I don't think you'll ever see me doing any kind of videos or any kind of Let's Plays or whatever of Call of Duty or whatever like that. Like, you know, it's just, there's a ton of people doing that. Like, no one needs to, I don't need to be the 3,133rd guy making a video about Call of Duty. You know, and so to me, it's more interesting the discovery of for myself, even, like, you know. And so, yeah, that's the kind of thing that's interesting about it is that I can play these games, I can find stuff, and other people can be like, hey, that's pretty fucking cool. I want to check that out. Yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing. YouTube's weird, all of it. And I've discovered, as I try to do art streams and have been trying to do it, that I really don't like doing them. Like, there's just something about, like, when you're drawing and you're just working on what you're working on, that you're not juggling another thought process. You're not juggling talking to other people. Like I can handle playing a game and talking pretty well. But I find like whenever you're just trying to like make decisions in your head about what you're doing, you know, with a character design or with art or anything like that, and splitting it between looking at the chat and, you know, or if you're in there with somebody else or whatever, I find it a lot more distracting. Like, you know what I mean? Because like typically you can play a game and talk to your friends, or you know, if your girlfriend's there and, you know, she's watching a show or talking to you about something else or whatever, you can kind of juggle that stuff and it's not that bad. But yeah, I find whenever I'm trying to lay out pages or draw characters or whatever, yeah, it just kind of like kills my want to do it, I guess is the best way to describe it. But it's like, I don't know, it's different. It just feels a lot more effortless to play a game and talk about it. But maybe that's a skill I need to learn. Maybe it's just like, you know what I mean? Maybe I just need to get better at drawing and talking. Because drifting through here and just trying to catch all the speed boosts and chatting it up, not a big deal. But yeah, just trying to just kind of, I don't know. It's just two different things. Like, do you know what I mean? Like you're definitely using different parts of your brain. That is for sure. And you know, I think when you're playing video games, I think that certain part of your reptile brain kicks in, and you're just reacting. Like there's that subconscious where you're like, oh, I gotta turn, I gotta do this, and you can just kind of do it. You can have a conversation. You can, you know, kind of think about two things at once. Yeah, I played Cheap Raider. That game is crazy. I played that back in the day. Like I feel like I played that when it came out. Because it's like you're just like tippy-toeing around, and it has the big dog. It has the big dog in it. Yes. I absolutely played that before. I don't know if I still have it. I'd have to look. But I definitely know exactly what that game is. Yeah, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I also like to keep learning. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I always want to just do something I don't know how to do. And so I think that's one of the reasons why I love like art and design so much. And video games, you know, are art and design, and it's all problem solving, and like, you know, just like figuring that stuff out and figuring out the best way to do things is